Hey parents, a few weeks back I was talking to a mom during a phone consult and she mentioned that she had never done more for a child, but she still felt stuck in the same place. Now, this mom had been to countless doctors, specialists, prescriptions, various holistic and biomedical therapies, but nothing seemed to work. Now, this just truly breaks my heart because it can be hard as a parent when there's so much going on and you're questioning whether it's just something you're missing, especially when you're working that hard. See, truth is, this mom is not alone. So many parents feel this way about getting to the bottom of their child's health struggle. And I talk to them regularly. So they're all looking for that key to unlocking that healing potential by not doing more, but actually prioritizing everything to do less. Because here's the truth, when you find the right order of healing that aligns with the pathway or sequence of stress they're going through, and that caused them to get sick in the first place, you're going to make the most impact on it. This is exactly, actually what we're going to be going into to allow you to do less while accomplishing more. So here's the stats on it. 2 in 5 children in the United States suffer from a chronic health condition, whether it be allergies, asthma, ADHD, autism. Heck, those are just the A words, right? All these pediatric disorders, they've just skyrocketed in the recent decades. Despite all the advances in medicine, the treatment options, just families, parents, they find themselves trapped in this cycle of trial and error with minimal lasting results. So that's why it's so key to really finding the root cause to do less is more. And that's really what we're going to be talking about today. Now, I'm a neurologically focused pediatric chiropractor, and this may sound almost, overly simplistic to say, okay, how can I actually scale back, do less, and accomplish more? But the key is starting in the right place. It's starting with the basics, beginning developmentally, and the sequence that actually happens first, where stress starts with development, either physically or emotionally, can actually lead us to the right place to start. And this is, so often why it starts with the nervous system and nervous system regulation, specifically looking at the vagus nerve and how it talks to the rest of the body. The nervous system is that master controller, coordinates every major system, keeps everything working in harmony. And when the nervous system becomes dysregulated and just out of balance, it can wreak havoc on everything in a child's health. It shuts down gut function, gross motor coordination, immune system function. Inflammation gets out of control, especially with, simple things like sleep, digestion, sensory processing, and then really kind of going over into behavior. See, common signs of neurological system dysregulation in kids really include those simple things, those softer signs as we call them: sleep disturbances, gut, stomach problems, frequent respiratory and immune challenges, gross, fine motor challenges, sensory. You see, it adds up. But it starts with the simple developmental pathway first. That's because that's what the nervous system worked on first. So how can you find out if your child's nervous system is really what's leading the way? And the answer really to look back at those basics, if they're struggling with those basics and they struggle with those basics developmentally, those areas are a red flag that it is probably tied back to their nervous system. This is why for so many kids that are struggling with a multitude of things, and really in the medical world, they're saying, okay, I need to help the gut over here. I need to help the immune system over here. I need to help behavior over here. We're working on them from all different aspects when really they're all connected via the nervous system. Now, how do we find this happen? Where does it start from? And we actually look at this dysregulation that happens in a 3-step sequence. See, follow along here. And if this happened in any of your kiddos, there's a likelihood that their nervous system that's really affecting them. Oftentimes, it starts with a high stress, oftentimes a high risk pregnancy or fetal developmental period. Following this kind of high emotional stress, there's a massive amount of birth intervention and trauma, whether it be forceps, vacuum, C-section, induction, breech, a cord wrapped. If you've had this, you know it because it is a stressful birth where you're just so happy that everything turned out okay on the other side of it. but it was very stressful to bring baby into the world. And then the third step is an early exposure to, antibiotics or medications, toxins, things like that, simply because of the struggle that came from that early maternal stress and that birth delivery stress. So it all accumulates. Now, when we see all these accumulate, we call that the perfect storm. This is why many symptoms that children experience seem interconnected. They all start from the same place very early in development, but then they all add up. One thing I'm going to attach in this video is what is the perfect storm article? Because if you're struggling with this, that's something that you're going to want to research and read, and I guarantee you it will help make everything just make a lot more sense. So put simply, in all of this, the nervous system is the boss. It starts to develop first. It's the way God designed our body and overall health to function through that brain and central nervous system communication. And that's got to be fully regulated and just operational for the other vital organs and functions to be as well. So gut health, immune system function, endocrine, hormonal health, growth, and fine motor development, all those muscles, they're controlled and coordinated first and foremost by that central nervous system, the brain's communication to the body, and then the body's communication back. So when the nervous system gets derailed or off track developmentally, so will most everything else downstream. This is why nearly every child struggling with a chronic neurodevelopmental condition like autism also struggles with digestive problems, immune response, the gross and fine motor challenges, sensory processing difficulties. A struggling nervous system simply compounds all the other problems, no matter what the diagnosis is. So in contrast, an adaptable, efficient CNS, a central nervous system, allows children to conquer and grow and develop and not be bogged down by all those other struggles, right? Because you've got the diagnosis, but then if they're struggling with the simple things, the softer signs, sleep, digestion, sensory, ease, right? Sensory sensitivities, all those things are going to add up and be very overwhelming, especially in today's world when we've got social stress, screen time, chemicals. As our kids get older, I got 4 kids at home. I know there's no escaping the stress that's coming at us, even if we do our absolute best to clean it up. And the environment around our kids, it can be nearly be impossible to be perfect from every angle. So as parents, we feel like we're working so hard for our children, and it's really just doing everything, working hard. But then when progress is slow, it's just not efficient or effective, and we want to make them more adaptable. And how to do that is through a fully and well-regulated and operational nervous system. Now, as simple as it sounds, the sequence of things matters most. That's why we go back to the root cause in the nervous system first. Each form of natural, holistic, integrative care, it's amazing, and it can help when the nervous system is adaptable and resilient. But we have to go back even further to unlock something within their nervous system and their brain to ensure that everything that you're using natural can work even better. And this is why you have to go to the nervous system first, because if you don't start there, then you're maybe not getting the most out of those supplements. You're maybe not getting the most out of those therapies. You're maybe not getting the most out of the cognitive and behavioral work that you're doing, because simply their nervous system isn't adaptable. It's not willing to accept. It's not efficient and balanced in the first place. So the first step in this is looking and measuring what the nervous system function looks like for our kids. Now at Reissing Health, we use an awesome piece of technology called the neurological insight scans. And they are truly insight. That word matters because it is an insight into looking at the nervous system. See, they allow us to assess the health and function of the CNS, the central nervous system, to look at and to centralize where the struggle is. It's really where the body is working the hardest. So that gives us what we call a batting order, or that sequence of where to work first to get momentum back in their health. So if you're curious and you're looking at this and you're saying, okay, I've got a lot of these struggles, that I'm talking about today, what if it is tied back to the nervous system? Well, the first step is measuring and quantifying that stress to see, okay, where is it off? And then allowing us the sequence to get it back. If the nervous system's off track and dysregulated, it's really easy for you to question if you're missing something. And I know that can be the hardest thing. You're doing so much already, right? The hard work you're doing, you want it to really count. So if you feel trapped in the cycle of doing more, we want to dive deeper into the nervous system that can actually allow you to do less work to accomplish more progress. We're here for you. Ask us the questions on your mind, comment to this video, shoot us a DM, give us a call. We're here to help because we really want you to find the root cause, because that can be the answer to being able to do less and accomplish more because you're focused on the right things. All right. God bless. Be well. Thank you guys.